Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing a speed review video today. I'm gonna warn you guys, there is a lot of stuff here. This might be a slightly longer video, so go grab a drink or a snack. Let's make a day of it. Okay, maybe not a day. It's not gonna be quite that long. A lot of stuff here, basically every category to get into. But before we do, I wanna wish any of you that are new here a special welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave. And most importantly, make sure notification bell is turned on so you know each time I upload something new. And with that said, let's just get right into it. So let's just go in order of how I typically apply things. I have a couple of foundations I wanted to mention. First off, this one right here, the Revolution Beauty Super Serum Foundation. I tested this out in a first impressions video a couple of months ago. I got it for about $5 at my local Walmart. I really like this stuff. I don't know that I would like it quite as much if it wasn't $5. I think the price point is what really impressed me with this foundation, but I do think it's good. It kind of reminds me of like the L'Oreal Serum Foundation, the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. It's very thin and lightweight, but it does have very good coverage. I don't think their shade range is tremendous. I have the shade F6, which works pretty well for me. It's not a perfect match for me, but I can definitely get by with this one. One thing to note that I don't think I noted in that video, there's only 0.84 ounces in here, so it doesn't give you a full ounce, so just keep that in mind. It is just $5, but you also don't get as much product as some other foundations include. I have a quick update from the IRL foundation. This is also from Revolution Beauty, but I think this is like a different level. I know this is a confusing brand in that way. I picked this one up at Target. I really like the wear and finish of this foundation. It is a very satiny, mattifying kind of foundation, which I don't typically like those. However, I have the shade F4 and I cannot get the shade to work for me. No matter what I combine it with, it is way too cool and kind of pink. It goes kind of this like pinky cool peach color on me, which is absolutely the opposite of what my natural undertone is. And no matter what I combine it with, the shade just does not look quite right. I haven't really looked into getting a different shade of this one. Okay, one quick update on these foundations that I got in a K-Beauty video. I have the Purito BB creams. I love these. I think they're great. I don't know that they're the longest wearing foundations, but they work really well if you like a BB cream type of foundation. Something that has some SPF in it that's nice and hydrating, nice and creamy. These are really good. I actually have to combine these two shades equal parts, but they are super affordable. I know a lot of people like them. They do remind me a lot of just a lot of the other BB creams that I love. The one from Elf, my Mise en Snell Repair, the Misha BB cream. I almost think they're all somewhat interchangeable, but I have been using these a lot, especially as it's getting a little warmer. I'm spending a little bit more time outside. I like BB and CC creams because they have SPF in them. Let me just give these a swatch for you guys really quick. So I have the shades 13 and 27. So here's shade number 13. You can see it's quite a bit too light for me. And then 27 is a little bit too dark for me. So these two combined make the perfect shade match. But I also want to give you guys an update on the Holika Hardcover Foundation. This was a pretty pricey foundation considering I got it at Yes Style, which I normally like to try out the more affordable foundations, but the packaging on this is stunning. However, I did have a bit of a packaging mishap. So the lid here, which does have a really nice pump, this bottom portion of the pump like cracked open. I need to ask my husband if he has some sort of like magical Gorilla Glue or something that can fix that, or I might just have to tape it back together. But that said, the actual pump itself works really well, and I really love this foundation. It wears really well on me. It's somewhat glowy and hydrating, but it's a little bit more lightweight than like the BB creams are. There's the shade match right there. It is way too light for me. So again, I like combining this with the darker Purito BB cream. It gives me the perfect finish, good lasting power, great shade. Overall, just a really good foundation if you can happen to find it in your shade. I have two concealers to update you guys on. This one I've had for quite a while. It's from Sephora. It's the Best Skin Ever concealer. I've heard a lot of people rave about this concealer. I have the absolute wrong shade. It's much too dark for me. I have tried combining this with very light concealers to try and see if I at least like the formula of it. I imagine if I got a better shade, I'd probably feel quite a bit differently about it. I don't love it. I don't know. I feel like the finish is not quite as hydrating as I typically like. I'd give this like a solid 5 or 6 on a scale from 1 to 10. It's not bad. It's just not the very best that I've tried. This concealer I picked up from Target. This is from Winky Lux. This is their Peeper Perfect concealer in the shade Light. This concealer, on the other hand, is almost too hydrating for me. I can sort of get it to work on like the perimeter of my face, but then the color is not quite right. It's a little bit too slippery of a concealer. If you have extremely dry skin, or if you can use the tiniest amount because you don't have very much to cover, This might work for you. It's advertised as an under eye concealer, and it does not work for an under eye concealer for me because I have so many fine lines. It definitely settles into those fine lines. And on top of all of that, it was like $18. Way too much for a concealer that just doesn't work very well for me. Okay, let's go through a couple of cheek products. I have this highlighter that I got from my K-Beauty order from YesStyle. It's not bad. This is the Peri Para Pure Glory Highlighter, but it was kind of pricey. I think this thing was like $14, and it's not my best highlighter ever. I have a ton of drugstore and even moderately high-end concealers that were about that price that I like a lot better. So I probably wouldn't highly recommend this. I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but so far I have not had great luck in finding an amazing highlighter at a pretty good price from YesStyle. Then I have this contour product right here. This is the Art Class Too Cool for School Contour by Rodin. This thing was also kind of pricey. I think I paid somewhere between $11 and $15 for this thing, but I actually really like this. I am wearing this on my skin today. It's a really good shade of contour slash bronzer if you have medium to fair skin. I love that you can kind of customize it depending on maybe if you're a little bit more tan or a little bit more fair in the wintertime. It's very nice and matte of a formula. It's not overly powdery, so you don't get a lot of like kick up, but it also is not difficult to build up on your cheeks. It's really easy to use, good shade. I would imagine this would work for a lot of people. Overall, it's pretty good. I think I'd be raving about it a lot more if it wasn't over $10, but it's not bad. I like the formula, I like the color. It just was a little bit on the pricey side. Okay, let's go through some cheek products. I have this Flower Beauty highlighter. This is their Spotlight Liquid Highlighter. I really like this highlighter. It is the one that I am wearing on my cheeks today. I don't normally love liquid highlighters, and I still would say, unless you know that you like liquid highlighters, this may or may not work for you. I still imagine I'm not gonna reach for this a ton just because generally speaking, I just prefer a powder highlighter, but I have reached for it quite a bit over the last couple of months, and I've been very impressed with it so far. It's just not like my favorite way to apply a highlighter. I have a couple of liquid blushes to share. So these two right here also came in my YesStyle K-Beauty video that I did in the early spring. When did I do that? Was it February? March? I really like both of these. This one is from the brand I Meme. It's a really beautiful natural color. I can't remember what it is called. I think it was called something like Burnt Almond. I'll link it on the screen for you guys right here. If you have fair skin and you have a difficult time finding shades that work for you, I imagine if you have even more fair skin than me, you will probably love this shade. It's actually almost a little too light for me. I have to build up a lot of this product to get some decent color payoff from it, which means it's probably gonna kind of melt off the concealer underneath. It kind of smells interesting. This one smells, did you guys ever use Clearasil like in high school? I know they still make Clearasil. Maybe you use it right now. I remember using Clearasil face washes in high school, and they had this kind of medicated, very interesting smell. This kind of smells like that. I don't know, that's just something to be aware of if you're sensitive to smells. It's not super strong, but it's a beautiful color if you have more fair skin. It's kind of like a peachy bronze almost. It's very, very pretty. You don't get a ton of product in here though, and I think this one was about $10. This one I believe was also $10, and I like this one a lot more. This is actually a lip product. It's the Juicy Lasting Tint. I mentioned the shade Nucademia a couple of years ago. It's one of my favorite liquid cheek products. And this one is in the shade Pomelo Skin. It's a little bit lighter than Nucademia. It's more of just like a nude kind of peachy brown. It's super beautiful. This is actually the color I'm wearing on my cheeks today. Let's just tap a little bit more on my cheeks just to kind of show you guys this in action. I actually usually apply this with a brush, but you can apply it with a sponge or with your finger and it works just fine. Really nice. It absorbs into your skin really well. Doesn't leave you with like a sticky feeling. It truly is like a liquid that just kind of melts into your skin, and the color is absolutely stunning. And just like the other shade that I've talked about before, it smells like real apple juice. It's so delicious. This right here is from Milani. This is the all-inclusive eye, cheek, and face palette. I have the light medium version. I don't know, you guys. I feel like I don't have a reason not to like this. I wasn't disappointed in the performance of any of these. I did think the bronzer was a little bit too orange for me, and the highlighter was maybe a little bit too dark and too gold for me. The formulas were okay. I did like the eye colors, the eyeshadows, and also I liked the blushes. I have other face palettes that I like a little bit more. Even if I had to use those face palettes on my eyes, I would rather take something like, oh, I don't have it right here with me, my Benefit palette or my Sydney Grace palette, and use that on my eyes and as my face palette rather than take this one. I just didn't love it that much. It's not bad. I just don't know that I'm likely gonna get a lot of use out of this or that I'd highly recommend it to anyone. Okay, I've got a couple of eyeliners. These are both long wearing eyeliners. This one is from Milk. It's in the color Outer Space, just a nice rich dark black. It is very inky and black. I am wearing it on my eyes today. However, it does transfer a little bit on me. This does not set down in the way that like a true gel liner would set down for me, which is unfortunate. That almost always happens for me with these kind of really rich pigmented gel pencil liners. They almost never set down as well as like a true gel liner would. But the funny thing is my Wet n Wild Simma Brow Note pencil does not give me that transfer, and that thing is 98 cents. So I will stick with my Wet n Wild or with my potted gel liners. They just work a little bit better for me. Same's kind of true with this one right here, which is from the brand Clio. I got this in my Yes Style order. This one's a very rich dark brown. I think this one wore a little bit better, but it also kind of made my eyelids sting a little bit, which was not great. Have this eyeshadow primer right here I got from Hard Candy. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't have any reason to criticize it, but it's not like my best performing eyeshadow primer. Honestly, guys, I've kind of gotten away from even using an eyeshadow primer because as I've gotten a little bit older, my eyelids aren't quite as prone to creasing as they used to be because I think they're just a little bit more dry. So I just use a concealer most of the time. And I don't know that this one is better than many of the ones you can get at the drugstore. I do have a few brow pencils to update you guys on. These two, which I got in my K-Beauty order, I like them both. I mentioned the Etude House Barrage Slim Brow Pencil. This one's really nice. I like the color, which is 01 Dark Brown. I mentioned this one is a favorite. This is the Unleasha Shaper Defining Eyebrow Pencil. It is the slimmest brow pencil you will ever see. Let me just give you guys a quick comparison. This one right here is kind of a standard slim brow pencil, and this one is ultra slim. I really like the precision you can get with this one. However, you have to be so careful when you use it. If it's poking up even more than like the depth of a penny, it's going to break off. It's kind of like using a mechanical pencil. When you have too much of the pencil out, it just kind of snaps. It's kind of what happens with this one. So it is a little bit high maintenance to use, but I do love the color and the performance. I imagine I'm probably gonna run out of this pretty quick, but if you were looking for something super precise, that is a very interesting brow pencil. Then I have this brow pencil. This is from Revolution. I got this at my local Walmart along with this product and a handful of other things from this brand. It was super cheap. I think it was $3 or $4. It's in the shade brown. I am wearing this one in my eyebrows today. It's a little bit on the dark side for me, but I really like the shape and the consistency of this brow pencil. It's a slim brow pencil, but it's kind of elongated slightly, but it's still plenty small that you can get some precision out of it. So there's the color right there. You can kind of see. It is a little dark, so just be warned if you have very fair skin or lighter hair, if you're a little on the ashy side but you don't like something overly dark, this is going to give you a lot more depth than something like the Ulta Beauty Ash Brown would. But I do like it, and considering it was like $3 or $4, pretty impressive. I have two clear brow gels here, the Milani Clear Brow Gel and the Milk Makeup Clear Brow Gel. Milk did send me this one right here. By the way, they also sent me this liner. They're good. I am wearing the Milk Makeup one in my eyebrows today. I did do the thing with my hair dryer. If I'm using a very liquidy, wet brow gel, I like to use my hairdryer as it kind of dries to help my brows to stay upright, because otherwise they're going to fall down as they are drying because the product is so wet. They're both very comfortable. They seem to work pretty well. This is not my favorite form of a brow gel. I like something a little bit more kind of tacky and sticky like the glue from NYX, or something more waxy like the ABH Brow Freeze, the e.l.f. Brow Lift, or even the ColourPop or the Essence Brow Soapy Brows. But if you do like clear brow gels, I think these are good. I just am not like a clear brow gel person. Let's breeze through a couple of eyeshadow palettes really quickly. I mentioned these two from Pacifica. They did send me these two eyeshadow palettes. I've tried them out a few more times since I briefly mentioned them. I don't like either of these. I think they're like $14 a piece. I don't think they're great. I don't love the formulas. I think the palettes are very small, so you don't get a ton for your money. The packaging's cute, but other than that, I just didn't think they were the best performing shadows or had the best formulas in them. This little palette I got in my K-Beauty order from the brand Unleasha. I actually really like this. K-Beauty shimmers are never quite what I am used to from like your average American or Western company. The shimmers are just a little bit different. They're either very glittery, you do get a couple of chunky glitters here, or they're kind of sheer. They actually kind of remind me of some of Natasha Denona's very sheer kind of glitter topper formulas. But that said, they're not bad, and this palette does create some really beautiful looks. Also, considering the packaging is clear and plastic, it's actually really nice and high quality feeling. Kind of a fun, different, interesting palette. And they did have some really cool color stories. So I don't know that I would say run out and buy this, but I do like it. This one right here from Lottie London. I think I briefly mentioned this one to you guys. I actually really like this little palette, and they do have some other color stories that looked really pretty, or at least they did when I was last looking. I think they're probably clearing out this type of palette. I don't know if they have this specific one, which is the rose gold one, available anymore, but I do think they're really good quality. And I've been pretty impressed with these. I even traveled with this one weekend as we went out of town for a baseball tournament. And that always tells you how much you really like something if you're willing to take it traveling with you. A quick update on the Huda Beauty Matte Obsessions palette, the Cool Matte and the Warm Matte. I really like these palettes. They're very good quality. I do have a few minor criticisms with them though. This one, I think I prefer this one, which is more of kind of like your berry tones. There's a lot of purple in here. The looks come across quite purple, which I don't know. I just kind of assumed like if you're doing a warm palette, your cool palette would be a little bit more neutral. So just be aware of that. They are a little bit on the colorful side. I do like the formulas a lot though. I like the cream formulas and I didn't find them to crease on me, but I find myself when I reach for this palette, I have to reach for a shimmer. I just can't do an all matte look. I just can't do it. I'm too attached to shimmers. It's not that big of a deal. I can always reach for a single or just use my highlighter in my inner corner. But just know that going in. If you like your shimmers, this obviously is not gonna give you that. And then the Warm Matte Obsessions, I really like the richness of this one. However, these looks are going to lean very like orangey brown. So if you're not into that super, super warm orangey kind of undertone look, you're gonna get that with this palette. Almost every single like mid-tone matte has a very strong yellowy orange shift to it. I do think they're pretty, but it's definitely a look that is more, again, a little bit more colorful than what you might want if you're looking for something more on the neutral side. I love the formulas. Again, very nice and rich, but a little bit more on the colorful side. Quick update on this Revlon Day to Night eyeshadow palette. This one is in the, what color is this one? It's not bad, but it's not great. The formulas are all kind of, they're not mattes, but they're also not metallic shimmers. They're kind of in between. It's just like a classic middle of the road drugstore eyeshadow. I don't think there's anything to write home about this one. This one, the Busy Art palette, this thing, it's so cute and so tiny. I think the color story, I haven't reached for this a ton since I first tried it out because the color story is a very fall kind of color story. That said, I do like the quality of these. I like how travel friendly they are, but they are pretty expensive for what you're getting. So just be aware of that. I mean, these things, I was so surprised at how tiny this thing was when I first opened it up, but they are kind of cute. They're kind of nice quality, that they're magnetized. They're perfect for traveling. I might be interested in picking up either a more nude or kind of like pink toned or peach toned palette to take with me traveling in the summertime. You spend a lot for what you're getting, but it is pretty good. This palette right here, the LA Girl Foreplay palette in the shade Juicy. I don't know. I don't love these shimmers that much. They just don't look that good on me. They both have kind of like a strong yellow undertone to them. The formulas are nice. I do think the mattes are really, really nice, really good quality. I kind of find myself wishing that I went with a different color story though. Even though I think this is pretty, the mattes are pretty, didn't love how the shimmers looked on me. Let's talk about these two palettes from Pat McGrath. First off, this one right here is from her Love collection. This is the Mothership Iconic Infatuation palette. This is the palette that I have on my eyes today. I think this is really good and the packaging is gorgeous, but I don't know that the color story is all that exciting or unique. I probably have these shades a million times over within my collection. I'm kind of getting to the point where I could say that just about any palette though. But I did pay a lot of money for this. I think it was like $65 for just 6 shades. And I don't know, for 6 shades, it's kind of bulky. Like I don't feel like I'd want to travel with this because it's just kind of bigger than I feel like it should be. But the packaging is really nice, and for it being cardboard, Pat McGrath does do a very good job with her cardboard packaging, keeping it feeling and looking very high-end. Don't get me wrong, I think the colors are very beautiful. I love this eye look today. I just don't know that it was worth $65. I probably would not buy this again if I could go back in time. And then this palette right here, the Sublime Smoke palette. I think this palette is good. I liked it the first time I tried it. I've used it a couple of times since. It is pretty basic and they are kind of pricey. I know that I raved about the purple one. I do like that one, I think, a little bit better. I think the matte shades in there were just a little bit more unique. These ones are pretty basic. I mean, it's a nice little palette to travel with if you're looking for something super, super tiny, but you do pay a lot for this. You can get a massive palette from Juvia's Place that has 20 shades in it for the same price that you got this for. I think this was $29. Again, not bad, just, I don't know. I don't know that I think it was worth the $29. Okay, I better pick up the pace. Let's go through some mascaras really, really quickly. Quick update on this little mini Rare Beauty mascara. I actually like this mascara more that it's dried out just a little bit. I still wouldn't say it's my favorite mascara. I don't even think it wears amazingly well. If my eyes get watery, this is going to run on me just a bit, but I like it more that it has dried out a little bit than I initially did. Initially, I didn't like this mascara at all. Couple updates on two water resistant mascaras that I got from Yes Style. This one from The Same. This was a $4 mascara. I really like this one. I've been wearing this when I'm going to a baseball game where I know it's going to be windy. This is the mascara that I have been reaching for because it's nice and waterproof, but it's also easy to remove with a makeup remover, and it looks pretty good on my lashes. This one from Peri Para. This is the Ink Black Cara Long Lash. This one is too waterproof. I cannot even get this off with a makeup remover, even if I use like a makeup melt or something more like this, or I've even used like olive oil, straight oil, and I still can't fully get this off. There will be remnants of this mascara on my eyelashes for like 2 days, which is a bit of a problem for me. If you like that in a mascara, one that is indestructible, you might like this. It does make my lashes look amazing and it holds a curl like crazy because it goes on and it dries really quick. But that said, I don't think it's worth the trouble to get off. I think I already kind of updated you guys on these two, the collagen primer and mascara from Pacifica. I didn't like these very much at all. The packaging is beautiful and very high-end feeling, but I didn't like how these wore on me at all. The Milani Liquid Lash Extensions. I still really like this mascara. I don't know that I like it quite as much as I liked my Thrive Cosmetics. I just don't know that this makes my lashes look as full as the Thrive Cosmetics one did. That one made me look like I had more lashes than I actually do, whereas this one doesn't really do that. It kind of makes my lashes look a little bit more thin and sparse. It is very lengthening. It does wear very well. It removes exactly like the Thrive one did, but I don't know that it's quite as volumizing and full looking as the Thrive Cosmetics was. The e.l.f. Lash and Roll, this is the one that I'm wearing on my eyelashes today. I like this mascara a lot. The brush is a little bit on the pokey side. It does wear really well on me. Pretty water resistant, but still relatively easy to remove at night. But I don't think it gives me the best length and volume, but it is pretty good. It gives me a decent volume, decent length. It's nice and separating. It doesn't clump when you apply it. And for only $6, not bad. The Flower Beauty Lash Warrior Mascara. I don't like this mascara as much as their pink tubed Warrior Princess, I think, mascara. This one's not quite as good. It's just kind of an average mascara. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. Probably wouldn't buy it again. This setting spray from Physicians Formula, again, this was sent to me with some other products that they sent me, some of which I absolutely loved. This one, I really liked it when I first tried it, but as I put it away for a couple weeks, then pulled it out recently, you just have to work with the sprayer. Like, it'll take a couple of like 4 or 5, maybe up to 10 sprays to get the sprayer to be really nice and microfine again. And I kind of hate to do that because I feel like it wastes some product, but I do think it's a good setting spray. It is more of like a long wearing kind of setting spray than something more dewy like the L'Oreal one or the Pretty Fresh one from ColourPop. Kind of reminds me more of the Urban Decay one. So I think it's good. You just have to be careful with the sprayer, that you make sure before you spray it on your face that it's spraying well. Are you hanging with me? Just a couple things left. I just have a few lip products to go through. This is the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade Rosy Nude. This is the only color that I have on my lips today. I am wearing this underneath a clear gloss. Really good, nice and long wearing. I love the shade of it. It's just a very good basic kind of warmer nude. Love that it's retractable. One thing I hate that Essence does though is they put the stickers on the lids of these, which also has the name of it. So I could take the sticker off, but then I don't remember what the name of the color is. It's not written anywhere else. So on top of that, I have my Physicians Formula Diamond Gloss Lip Gloss. They did send this to me. I do really like it. I generally don't love clear glosses. I like my gloss to have either a little bit of color or a little bit of kind of shimmer or shine in it. But that said, this is very, very glossy. Let me just put a little bit more on so you guys can kind of see. It is a little bit on the sticky side. As it warms up, on your lips, it gets less sticky. So after a couple of minutes, it's not quite as sticky. It's not quite as sticky as it is when you first apply it. Pretty decent lip gloss. If you like something clear, you're probably gonna love this. Then these right here, also from Physicians Formula, the Diamond Last Mineral Wear, basically liquid lipsticks. These perform just like any traditional liquid lipstick would. I don't know though, I don't use liquid lipsticks very often, especially if they're in nude colors. The only time I am guaranteed to reach for a liquid lipstick is if it's a red. In that case, I love using that type of formulation, but other than that, I usually just like to use a traditional lipstick or a lip liner and a gloss. So I don't imagine I'm gonna use these a ton. They are pretty nice basic nude shades that I would imagine would work for most people that like a mid-tone nude. The packaging is definitely gorgeous. I just don't imagine I'm gonna get a lot of use out of these, unfortunately. This right here is the Revlon Matte Lip Crayon. This is the strangest thing, you guys. I love lip liners. I reach for lip liners on the daily, yet something like this, which is just a little bit more chubby, a little bit less of a defining product, just something to give you color, I just don't reach for stuff like this. It's a pretty color. This one is in the shade Take Flight, kind of a basic nude mauve. It's not bad. I just don't think I'm ever gonna reach for this again, which I should have known going into that, because these type of products I rarely end up using on the regular. I'd say if you like lip crayons, you're probably gonna like it, but I just don't typically use that type of a product. And then last I have these lip balms from Pacifica. Really interesting packaging. It's clear, but it has this like gray tinge to it that I think is kind of, honestly, I think it's a little bit strange, but also kind of cool at the same time. I don't know. But the product itself, so I haven't been reaching for these a ton. Honestly, I don't use this type of a product very often. They look so interesting. You guys see that? It's like Jello. It's like kind of clear, like gelatin looking. They are nice and comfortable. They're pretty sheer. So here's this color right there. Just goes on kind of like a sheer kind of peachy red. I just don't imagine that I'm gonna use these super often. I do like the balms that came in a tube. There's the pink one right there, kind of a berry toned. I like these ones a lot better. So if you're picking between these two, unless you know you like this type of a like lip balm in a twist up form, I think these are a little bit better. You get more shine and they also smell really good. Oh, almost forgot one more thing. I promise this is the last thing. I mentioned that I would update you guys on these half sets of lashes that I got from Amazon. I have tried all of these out now. There are 3 different styles. I have C03, C07, and then C25. I don't like any of these. They all had a couple of flaws. I felt like they were all either a little bit too thick and made my eyes very heavy, or they were too sparse or too short, and the lash bands are very, very thick. So you can really feel these on your eyes. They are not comfortable at all. They are not easy to apply. The only thing going for them was that they were cheap. I think each of these sets were about $7 or $8, but I just can't recommend them. Definitely go with the eyeliner ones that I've mentioned before. These just, I doubt that I'll ever reach for these again. And that is everything. Hope you guys are still with me. I know that this was a lot. I need to try and do these more often so I don't have so much of an overload. But hopefully these updates were helpful for you guys. If you guys watch most of my videos and you've been curious when I show something to you and then never talk about it again, that's why I like to do these videos, because sometimes stuff just kind of slips through the cracks. So I hope that it was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are all doing well. Let me give you one final reminder. Please subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see all of you very soon in my next video. Bye.